What happened?
It's coming.
Hello, everybody. My name is Dave Juskow, and this is the Comedy Cellar Football Show. So let's keep the party polite. Never get out of my sight. Stick with me, baby. I'm the fella you came in with. Luck be a lady. Luck be a lady. Ow, luck be a lady.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Comedy Cellar Nightly Football Show with me, Dave Juskow. It is my always so much fun pleasure to see everybody's faces when we show that opening in bewilderment and what is happening. But yes, we are here this evening, and we are minus one guest, unfortunately, but our other two are awesome. And let me introduce them without further ado. In no particular order, this is just the way I see them on my screen. To my left, the owner and proprietor and legendary creator of one of the greatest comedy clubs of all time, Catch a Rising Star. And he started, if you know anybody and any comic in the business, he started them out. Please welcome Rick Newman, everybody.
Hey.
Hi, Rick. And on the bottom, this always sounds weird when I say that. On my bottom,
I beg your pardon.
He is the co-host and co-creator of the Gilbert Gottfried Amazing Colossal podcast, which actually a new episode will air in about an hour at 9 o'clock on Sirius XM, and then goes, I believe, worldwide, Frank, on Mondays.
That is correct, sir.
That is correct. Please welcome Frank Santopadre, everybody.
Thank you.
Hello,
for
guys.
me,
And
Davey.
unfortunately, Alan Zweibel was supposed to join us today, but his father became ill. So, but he'll do his best maybe to come on later. But right now, ironically, I think these two guys can probably answer more about Alan than he knows about himself. I'm kind of right.
His father is 94 years old, by the way.
I know this sounds weird, but when I heard that his father, I thought he was just making up an excuse because I just assumed all of our fathers were dead by now. I mean, that's unbelievable.
My mom is 93.
Really?
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, I know the moms last, but it's very odd to have a dad, a man live that, one of your dads live that long.
How old did Louis Black? Louis Black's mother's still alive. She's 102?
Yeah, she's 102 years
Jeanette,
old.
yeah.
Oh, yeah. My mom's going to outlive everybody. It's really annoying. She's going to, it's just, there's nothing I can do about it. And she's just going to live forever. What are you going to do? This is the thing.
A sweet sentiment, Dave.
This is also a very strange night in the sense that, when I first asked Liz, who created this whole nightly show, who's the manager of the lovely Comedy Cellar, where sooner or later, someday, maybe in 2021, we'll be able to enjoy comedy again live. But when I asked her if I could do this show on Tuesdays, I thought, well, Tuesdays are a perfect day. There's obviously not going to be any football games on Tuesdays. And lo and behold, we're actually competing with ourselves. I mean, I knew I'd have to compete with the elections and the debates, but there's a football game going on right now between the Bills and the Titans. Last I left, it was the second quarter. The Titans were up 14-7. Mike will keep us apprised of the situation. I mean, how ridiculous. Tuesday night football.
Wow.
Rick, did you ever think you'd live to see the day?
No, I didn't actually. You're a big football fan. You're not just.
I like gambling, Rick.
Fan.
I like gambling.
In
that sense, I enjoy football.
I did like gambling, and not any longer.
Well, this is why no one's ever heard of me before. Oh, it's it's Titans 14, Bills 10. Thank you very much.
Bills had to be favored in this game, yes?
They were favored by about 3 points, only because the Titans. I mean, they're both undefeated.
Both undefeated, yeah.
But anyway, yeah, and that's the funny thing is that. Usually when I do the show, I have one person that knows about football and the other two don't care, and I don't care either. Because it's interesting to see how people that don't know anything about football usually win the week. The less you know, the more you win. But today, Alan was the guy who knew about football, and you two guys don't know about football. But it doesn't matter.
I can surprise you, Dave.
Frank, believe
Try
me, if you don't know Frank Santopadre, I mean, obviously, if you listen to Gilbert Show, you know he knows everything. I mean, something about everything. There's nothing.
What gave you the impression I didn't know football?
Smart man.
I thought you said you didn't know about.
No,
even though I've never noticed that before.
You're mistaking me for someone. I've been a Los Angeles Rams fan since 1976.
And then you weren't one when they became the St. Louis Rams, and now you're a fan again?
I followed them through all their moves. Not
why
Cleveland.
that?
I'm not that
why
old.
that team? You're a Long Island boy.
Because when you're a kid, when you pick a team and you're a child, you pick a teom for the strangest reasons. And in this case, it was the Unis.
Frank, is Gilly a sports fan?
Oh, is he ever?
Is he?
No.
No, I didn't think so. Wow.
Talking about Gilbert Gottfried.
Gilbert doesn't know a soccer ball from a shuttlecock.
Shuttlecock being the name of my new book.
Yes.
But yeah, it's funny. I know exactly what you're talking about. In 1972, I remember being the biggest Miami Dolphins fan because basically their colors were amazing and they just won 2 Super Bowls.
Aquamarine.
Yeah, so I bought all this. There's got to be pictures somewhere of me in head to toe Miami Dolphins apparel. I'm talking about socks, sneakers, a vest, a jacket, jeans, a belt, obviously a hat. I mean, really, I had everything. And people, they all used to make, do you got Dolphins underwear too? And I was like, of course I have Dolphins underwear. It was like kind of a stupid question, but yeah, when all the kids were wearing underoos, I was wearing the Miami Dolphins. Meanwhile, they just had won the Super Bowl, so it was an easy
1972.
pick. Yeah, 72 and 73. I believe. Didn't they win 2 in a row, right?
They won 2 in a row.
72 is when I opened up Catch a Rising Star.
There you go. That's a segue.
That is the greatest segue. So in Alan, this is the weirdest thing, is that Alan Zweibel probably wouldn't even be on this show or any show if not for Rick Newman, who... Well, I know you're going to say something not that way, but it is that way. He came into your club. He was discovered at your club. Please,
That's
Rick.
right.
How dare you not take credit for that?
He was. Warren Michaels. I'm sure you both know the story.
Well, I only read it in the book. I didn't know. Yeah. Please tell us.
Well, he used to get up at Catch a Rising Star regularly. I had him and Billy Crystal. They used to drive in together. They became friends. And Alan got up and did a set one night. Lorne Michaels and Dick Ebersol had come down to catch. They always came down while they were putting the show together to check out talent. Alan got up and he did a set that was not so great, let's say.
Are you talking about?
But anyhow,
sorry, go ahead.
Pardon?
Nothing. I was just kidding.
He got finished doing the set. He goes over to the bar. And the guy hands him a card and he says, listen, he says, you're a terrible comic, but you're a good writer. I'm putting a show together. Will you come up and see me? He gives him a card. And it was Lorne Michaels. And the rest is history. He went on.
It's like Lana Turner being discovered at Schwab's drugstore. That is a total Hollywood discovery.
Yeah.
A Hollywood story.
It's a fascinating story. And again, if you read his book, which we all have a copy of
let's
today,
plug the book.
Laugh Lines. I was going to plug it in to say My Life Helping Funny People Be Funnier. That's Alan Zweibel's new book. It's an amazing read. And that's how I found out. I had no idea him and Billy Crystal were so close. And the best part is the way we're all still friendly, me, Frank, and Rick, and we've known each other for many, many years. Him and Billy Crystal are still friends. They're working on a movie right now, which is one of the reasons he wasn't going to be able to make it. And he moved stuff around for us before what happened to his father, that they're still working together. It just shows you how comedy ties bind.
They have an amazing history. Don't forget, Alan worked with Billy creating 700 Sundays.
That's right. His Broadway show. Yes.
The
that's
Broadway
right.
show. Which,
But
they work together.
They go all the way back to. Did they go back to Catch or the fact that they're both Long Islanders? Did they
they go back to Catch. They met at Catch.
They met at Catch.
They lived five towns away from each other on Long Island.
Right.
And then they used to both drive in or get a ride in with their parents, and then they hooked up together and they used to drive in together. I used to put them back to back so that they could kind of leave together.
Now, when Alan was doing those jokes that Lauren said were terrible jokes, weren't they the jokes? Wasn't he doing the material that he was selling to Borscht Belt Comics? Wasn't he doing
No,
one-liners?
not really. No,
Uh-huh.
he kind of had a little reputation at that point of writing for the comics, but really, I mean, for the older comics, the Borscht Belt comics. But when he would get up on stage, no, he played to the younger
He
audience.
did. Okay.
He didn't do the
Every
old-
Jackie, Bernie, and Joey,
No,
as he
he
likes to
didn't
say.
do that.
Yeah, and it's fun when you read his book. He talks about being in the situation that we all know. If you know Annie Hall backwards and forwards like we do, where Woody Allen's starting out for that comic and he's trying to keep that smile frozen on his face, that actually happened to Allen and might have been actually taken from the movie, from one of his stories, I believe is correct, because I think he knew either Marshall Brickman or Woody, right? Wasn't that what it was? Or
Yeah, yes, and God, he's got his respect and his contacts and relationships with great writers now is quite amazing.
And the best part is also in the book is that he was deciding, and they also said this on when he was on Gilbert's podcast as well, that he had to make a choice, which is a wonderful choice, to whether he wanted to be on this new show which nobody had ever heard of, which was called Saturday Night Live, or write for Paul Lynde on Hollywood Squares.
That's right.
One of those things that'll never come up again in life.
That's right. I think he made the right decision.
Well, he obviously made the right decision, but it was funny because he's like, but Hollywood Squares is an established show, and this show isn't anything. But he obviously figured out, he's obviously very intelligent, figured out, well, this is going to be something different that no one's ever done before. Let's take a risk. So
he was a kid. He was in his 20s. Was he not, Rick?
Pardon me?
I think he was still in his 20s.
Oh, yeah, he
Alan,
sure was.
yeah.
Yeah.
I just want to say, we just got to.
Speaking of young people that worked out, Gilly was like 17 years old when he first started.
I believe he was 15.
15.
15?
First
He
time
lied, the son of a bitch.
Yeah. First
Wow.
time he and Arlene, his sister Arlene, walked into a club and he got up on stage. He can't remember which club it was. He thinks it was either the Village Gate or the Bitter End, or one of those clubs that wasn't really a comedy club.
I just want to say we got a $50 donation from the chat room today from It's the It, and that's very nice of you. They're telling me to go on Patreon, but Patreon, right, Frank? You know all about
Patreon.
that. Patreon.
Patreon.
And that's very kind of you. Yes, if you click the donate button in our chat room, we can make some money off this thing, since nobody knows how to make any money in comedy anymore.
And speaking of the original SNL, 45 years this week.
Wow,
Yes.
isn't that amazing?
It debuted.
Yeah, and
October 11th.
I will talk more about that in a second. There's one other thing I want to talk about, Rick's amazing club, which the first night he opened. Again, I just read this in the book. I don't know whether you ever told me, Rick, or anything, but he opened in December of 72 for a birthday party for Rocky Graziano. He was like, well, this will be a great way to open the club. And it wasn't even considered a comedy club at the time, right? It was just
No, that's true.
a variety club of, where you were going to have comics and music and stuff, which is my favorite kind of thing, which drives me crazy when I'm doing a show at the Comedy Cellar and I'm doing an opening number with the mic and I'm going into the audience and people are like, what the hell is he doing? Why is he singing to us? I went around one time on my birthday and I go, there are chicks just right for some kissing. And people are like, what the hell's going on here? I don't understand. They don't understand the comedy variety anymore. They just want the jokes. And I like it old school. And on that night, Jake LaMotta came in as well. Am I correct on that, Rick?
Yes, Jake LaMotta. And it was really funny because I was looking for a celebrity to throw a party for, because Catch a Rising Star, no one knew what it was. And Rocky didn't know what it was either. But a friend of mine knew him, and he said, look, I'll introduce you. If he likes you, I guess I'll let you throw him a party. So he had a pizza joint called The Champ on 2nd Avenue and 30th Street. I went down, I spent an hour with him, and he gives me a punch on the chin. He goes, I like you, kid. You can throw me a party. And it got a lot of press, and that's a true story.
The scariest part is he's saying it like that, but he was only turning 50. But he sounded like he was, like, I like you, kid.
And he looked nothing like Paul Newman, right, Rick?
I would say the nostrils, there was a resemblance.
Well, that is a hell of an opening. And then that club went on to just so greatness. And we have a lot to talk about, actually. Let me share my screen and go on to what we're doing today in terms of talk. Rick, you can see my screen.
Yes.
Yes?
Oh, yeah.
Good.
Yeah, good stuff.
This was, as I was saying, we were promoting Alan's book today.
Yes. Oh, there
This
we go.
is the
There it
cover,
is.
and it really is a great read. Remember, he also co-created and produced the It's the Gary Shandling Show
You'd
for
bet.
Showtime, which again is a Dave Juskow staple in why I even came into comedy. Okay, so normally I tailgate every week or whenever the Giants are playing a home game. This is what I normally do in a regular year. That's why the show was created, to show you pictures of a tailgate. This was a Giants Redskins one, which we'd be doing. And one of the Redskins, we're not allowed to call them that anymore, but the Washington Football Club, they bought what was it called? It was called a Peace Pipe, but it's called a shot ski. And you join other fans from other teams and you all do a shot together. And if somebody messes up, everybody gets screwed. So it was very nice. And there's me looking at the grill very early in the morning. We used to do it up. And there's lunchtime with some wings. And here's me double fisting drinking. I used to get pretty fucked up. And it was super fun time. And this is what I did this weekend since I saw the last day of the New York Film Festival movie outdoors. That's what it's come to.
It looks like you got a neck brace on.
Well, it's my
he's remaking the fortune cookie.
This was, I saw it wasn't a foreign film, but it certainly felt like that. This is what, we've become now in a drive-in. I saw this Michelle Pfeiffer movie called French Exit, where her husband is embodied in this black cat.
Wow.
And that is what weekends have now become. It wasn't great, but she's so pretty and great, so that's okay. And plus, I thought the black cat talked, but it does not.
You thought it was like That Darn Cat?
Yes, that's exactly what I thought it
with
was.
Dean Jones?
Yes. My friend and I were talking, was Tony Randall in a black cat movie?
Oh, God.
Frank would know.
Frank knows.
Doesn't ring a bell.
Oh, speaking of which, tonight's episode of Gilbert Gottfried's Amazing Colossal Podcast has me on it.
It does.
Along with Gilbert, obviously, Frank, and Jack Klugman's kids, as I call them, the Klugman kids. Yep. Was it Adam and David, right?
Correct. Yes, we did his 50th anniversary of The Odd Couple.
And even the better part of them being Jack Klugman's sons is that they're also Brett Summers' sons from Match Game.
That's correct.
Was the most, shocking. I didn't know. And it was a really fun time, and it comes out tonight on Sirius at 9 p.m.
9 p.m. on the 94, Channel 94, the Comedy
Channel
Grades
94.
channel.
That's right.
There's Alan.
Yes. So this was, now Rick Newman, for some reason, the king of New York, moved to Los Angeles.
I know. No one could believe it.
Well, in a way, you would say you made a brilliant move because it's a horrible time to be living in New York, but apparently Los Angeles is just as bad. So.
But my heart breaks and bleeds for New York. I miss it so much.
Oh, grow up. If you missed it that much, you'd still be here and you would have been in this photo.
For sure, he would have been.
Oh, he definitely would have been here. This was Gilbert's 300th podcast. Also, I believe his 60th birthday.
Yes, it was.
And his wife's birthday as well. I won't say her age, even though she said it because that's polite.
Paul Schaefer and his wife.
Yeah. So how about this
Kathy.
table? Here's Alan. Here's
Alan,
Susie Essman, who I met through Rick Newman. Thank you. Who's what a wonderful person she is.
Love her.
I mean, she might be the greatest actress of our time because her character in Curb Your Enthusiasm is nothing like her actual persona in real life. I mean, right?
She's definitely one of the funniest people of all time.
And funny too. So here's Alan and his wife. Here's Paul Schaefer and his wife. And I'm over here, I swear. So fortunately, I did have the picture where the other side is. There's me in my ridiculous hat. Jeff Ross, David Yazbek, the Tony-winning producer of Broadway and writer of he won for The Band's Visit. I just saw Tootsie, the musical, which was terrific. He was starting the Princess Bride musical, and obviously COVID stopped all of that. Over here is Tom Leopold, right?
That's Buddy Mantilla, right behind Tom Leopold.
Oh, that him? I didn't know who that was.
There's a name for you, Rick.
Yeah, I love Tom.
The Untouchables.
Wow.
Is that right?
Buddy Mantilla, this guy here, the top behind Tom Leopold, was part of a comedy trio called the Untouchables.
Oh, Buddy Mantilla.
Yeah. His
I know
date for
Buddy
the evening, who's not in this photo, was Barbara Feldon.
Oh,
I mean,
she's her coming up. I didn't know that was his date. Oh, no, it's okay. Tom Leopold, he created Cheers, right?
No, he was a staff writer on Cheers.
Oh, staff writer. I'm sorry. Okay. So still pretty good, though. And over here, this is Scott Rogowsky. Some of you young kids might know him from HQ, from the app. I was always fascinated by him because I used to play that game all the time. And this guy, his name is Perry. He's really nice. He's an artist, right?
Perry Shaw.
Perry Shaw, great guy. This is Susie's husband, who's a terrific guy as well. Jim, yeah, he's really nice. And this was such a fun night. Look at the table. Look, it's Paul and his wife. I mean, it was. I think they're just watching Frank talk, because there's Frank right now. See, that's Frank looking amazing in his suit. This guy, Rick. Ever since I've met Frank, he has been so well dressed. He's always wearing a blazer. I've been trying to emulate him for my life. I just can't pull it off the way he does.
Frank's always been a pretty good dresser.
A very good dresser.
You're too kind.
No, it's true. But look at this suit. He looks amazing.
Always a gentleman and basically wore a jacket.
That's me, Rick. Yeah. Trying to class up the joint.
Yeah, exactly. And he did just that. And here's Barbara Feldon.
There she is.
Here's Agent 99. Which I couldn't even believe I would ever meet in my lifetime. And you don't, those of you like Gilbert Show understand how great this is. Some of you young kids might not appreciate how great this is, but meeting Agent 99, the what?
She was one of the best guests we've had in 330 shows.
Wow. That's saying something.
Yeah.
And I actually got to hang out with her. And you know what the weird part is? She's actually 99 years of age. No, I think she's 92, and she looks amazing.
She's not 92. She's barely in her 80s.
Oh, is that? Oh, I thought she was 92.
No.
I guess I was thinking she was 99.
Don't age Barbara Feldon.
No. She looks great.
She looks amazing.
She's a lovely.
Here's Rick and Gilbert. See?
Oh, there's Gilbert. Oh, that's the triad.
Actually, one of the greatest pictures I've ever seen of Gilbert.
He looks good.
He looks normal.
Pretty good picture of me, too.
Good picture of you, Rick.
Yeah, it's a great picture of Rick, but Rick looks confused.
That's at the triad.
Yeah.
That's Rick. Rick, do you still own that club?
No, we're partners. We turned it into a soundstage. You'll all be hearing about it. We're shooting a lot of TV shows from there.
So it's not a live venue anymore.
Well, right now it's not. I'm not saying it won't be again, but what we did is we took out most of the seating the way it was. We put in banquettes. It seats about 40 to 50 people now in banquettes, and we've got 10 cameras stationary, and we have an in-house director. We turned it into a soundstage.
Great.
We had to reinvent it because of what's going on.
Of course.
Yeah. Well, that sounds great. That's on 72nd Street here in the New York City.
Yeah.
And it's a great room. I was lucky enough to see David Steinberg work on his one-man show there.
Yeah.
Which was really exciting.
Behar did her Me, My Mouth, and I.
Joy did her one-woman show there as well. Yep.
Yeah. And here's Rick and Jerry Seinfeld. I don't think they really know each other, but they're pretending like they do. No, it's.
I want to get his latest book. Tell me if you think this is this anything?
His new book's coming out. That's right.
It just came out last week.
Here's look at this picture. This
oh my goodness.
This is Rick here. This is, I don't know who this guy is.
That's Neil Giraldo. That's Pat Benatar's husband, the lead guitarist in back of Robin.
Pat Benatar's husband was Robin Williams? Okay, yeah, there's Belzer, David Brenner, and I don't know how Joe Piscopo
looks like
got
half
in there.
Piscopo, yeah.
But if you think that that's an old picture, well, here's a color one, so it's a little better off that way.
Look at that.
There you go.
And you can see, who's this guy over here? He looks like my friend.
Myron Grombacher. He was Patty's
good.
drummer.
Oh, I thought you were just making up names.
A funny thing about
the
picture that night, that was for the HBO Catch a Rising Star 10th anniversary, and she was at Catch a Rising Star. I filmed it 2 nights in a row, and she did a show back to back 2 nights, and 3 nights later, she made her first appearance at Madison Square Garden.
Wow!
Really? This was for the 10th anniversary show, and then this was
for the Catch a Rising Star 10th anniversary special. Yes.
Would have to get out of it for a second because I'm moving
Great
on
picture.
to. No, wait, I have more. Yeah. Okay. So speaking of that 10th anniversary show, ladies and gentlemen.
Look, you know your memory is gone? Maybe. All right. I discovered it. I discovered Pat Benatar. Yeah. I took some friends out.
I'm the guy that auditions people.
You auditioned, and I told you to let her sing another song.
Yeah.
I said,
you're the one that said
to
to do show tunes. I said, Rick, you're nuts.
You know, I can't believe you.
Yeah.
All right?
I hate to tell
Cut
you this.
him off.
I started Pat Benatar off in a singing career.
Where'd you come
want to
from?
take her bowling. I discovered him. I discovered you. This place,
What are you,
I
Lewis and
discovered this
Clark?
place. You
You discovered the wheel.
You discovered Overcoat.
Gentlemen, I discovered Pat Benatar years ago in a bank. We started dating.
Why don't you go make an
She's the
extension
one-
that only you understand?
Yeah, right.
How great is that?
Barry Mitchell, right, Rick?
Pardon me?
Barry Mitchell.
Barry Mitchell.
Doing
Oh, I was
Woody
wondering
Allen.
what a great Woody Allen too. It was so
Yeah.
good.
Yeah,
I was
he-
like,
he
wait,
did
how did they
great
get
with
Woody
that.
Allen? I was
Yeah,
Great
fooled.
clip. Oh my goodness.
Oh, Rick,
What year is that, Rick?
82.
That was 80. Yeah.
It says it. It says
Beginning
it.
of 82.
Bell's looks
You know
great.
your memory is gone? Maybe. All right.
October
Oh,
15th,
Yeah,
82.
I missed it. I missed the
Yeah.
date. That's great.
Isn't that fantastic?
What a
Isn't
great
that-
clip.
What a
What a
great.
funny-
Rick, you're a
clip.
natural actor.
Yeah, right.
I got this one for Frank. This is Steve Martin,
Mhm.
David Brenner, and
Ted Bessel.
Ted Bessel.
Ted
Frank.
Bessel. Holy Christ.
I knew you'd like it.
Oh my God. What a shot. Dave,
Yeah.
you got to send me that photo.
I will send it to you. It's it
Oh,
is-
Frank, I have some photos you would love.
I can't wait to see him, Rick.
Yeah.
That's a classic.
yeah,
Yeah,
it's an absolute classic. Ted Bessel was, if you don't know, I mean, just the guy we always aspired to be if you wanted to get into comedy or acting, the good-looking boyfriend of all the hot, Mary Tyler Moore or Marlo Thomas or he, and of course his show Me and the Chimp was one of my favorites growing
Who
up.
could
and
forget
didn't
it?
do very well. Well, I always remember this one episode where he went over the top and bought this girl that he liked, this huge teddy bear, and then he got dumped. And it's not a good show or anything, but then I remember him walking around with a teddy bear, and I'm like, I hope that doesn't happen to me years from now.
That
but
was a
it-
Gary Marshall show, Me and the Chimp.
Oh, it was?
And it was
Oh,
wow.
wow.
It was originally called The Chimp and Me, but Bessel was offended. And he said, if I'm going to do this damn thing, I'm getting billing over the chimp. So
Well,
they
how do you
changed
like
the
the-
title to Me and the Chimp
This guy's got a lot of nerve, huh?
instead of The Chimp and Me. There you
There's
go.
Alan Zweibel's bar mitzvah
Look
picture.
at that.
Oh my God.
It's in his book.
Great.
The reason I'm using it is because here's my bar mitzvah picture, which is it's better because my suit is unbelievable.
Wow.
I mean, that is a hell of a suit, right?
I can't believe you complimented my suit when you own that suit.
Well, how about this?
That's great.
I put this up on Instagram. Did you see? I have a guy here holding my suit. It was a big day for me.
What year are we talking about here, David?
This was 77.
Great. Fantastic.
As a matter of fact, I can tell you exactly because
Oh, the world
I
was
won the hula hoop contest and I got a Bee Gees 45. And I said, who the hell are the Bee Gees? And this girl goes, oh, you better hold on to that. They're going to be really famous soon. I'm like, not with that name, because I know how to pick, successes. If Pat Benatar came into my club, I would have been like, kid, it's not going to happen for you. Okay. So this was for if Alan was on. This is a COVID-19 story. I talk about this every week. This is at this mall that I grew up in my neighborhood. I know the woman that works at this mall. It's called the Menlo Park Mall. And she's the only one left. They had to let everybody else go in the mall because of COVID. And so there's a COVID-19 story in it. And
Love
I was
the
on the
logo.
phone with her. The what?
I love the logo.
Yeah.
Got the actual virus as the backdrop.
Yeah, the actual virus. I mean, this is where we've come, right? I mean, this is
Clever.
really messed up. And here's the best part. Here's the joke, and it's not even a joke. She's told me that people have been calling the mall and complaining that the COVID-19 store is not practicing social distancing. So that she's getting complaints.
Wow.
It's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. But the
Wow.
reason why I brought it up is because it reminded me of this old sketch from Saturday Night Live from 1980 with Bob Newhart that I had never seen
Sure.
until about 2 weeks ago when I looked it up, about him owning a store that sold everything.
Yeah.
Frank, do you remember?
Season 5, I think.
Season 5,
Yeah.
1980.
He sells a square basketball at one
He
point,
sells
right?
a square basketball. He sells half a TV set. Anything you can come in for. And what I remember as a kid growing up is that somebody came in, and now I know, I think it was Tom Davis.
Yeah.
And he came in and asked for a white chocolate bow and arrow and set. And he's like, no, not the dark chocolate, the white chocolate. And he had it. But then I found out after seeing it, it was a crossbow, a white chocolate. But the best was, now that I've seen the episode again, was that Harry Shearer was in it.
Yeah.
And he came in asking for the 1955 copy of Eddie Fisher's Oh Papa.
Oh, my papa.
Oh, my papa.
Oh, my Papa.
Right.
And they had 2 copies left.
Doesn't someone ask for a kid, like a small
yes,
child?
Isaac something or other, and it's played by Paul Simon. It's Isaac something's nephew, and Isaac Stern.
Yeah, the Stern kid, right? It
was his nephew, and they had him in the back.
Right.
Yeah.
And he calls the warehouse and says, "We got the Stern kid back there."
That's right.
No, I haven't seen this sketch in 30 years.
Me too. And then lo and behold,
There he
Alan
is.
Zweibel is in the sketch.
I was just gonna say that.
Propeller beanie.
Yep.
He comes in at the end, and there's him and Gilda, who
There's
he was
Gilda.
like best friends with. And he's trying out the beanie. I had no idea he was in the sketch that I was thinking of before he was going to come on the show. Like I said, I've only met him once at Jeff's thing.
Belushi and Aykroyd were gone by season 5, and the writers, some of the writers got a little more screen time.
So that's why Harry Shearer, I guess, was in it, right, too?
Well, Harry Shearer was a cast member.
Oh, he was a cast member.
But Davis and Franken and Allen got a little bit, and I guess Tom Schiller got a little bit more screen time.
Yeah. So, we were just talking about 45 years of Saturday Night Live. This is the new People magazine I just picked up 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago, because I like these kind of things. I like looking at the pictures. I like the stories. So I picked it up. And again, look who's on page 26.
There he is.
Is our friend. They promote his book. There he is with the Emmy. And, they talk about how, the stuff about Pryor and the samurai sketch and how he was involved with all that kind of stuff, which is amazing. And then they have this amazing picture of him with Belushi. And this looks like Brian Doyle Murray from this side. Who's this?
That's is that one of the writers? Is that
Oh,
Rosie
maybe it says Lorraine Newman. No, that can't be Lorraine Newman. That's not right. Oh, maybe it is Lorraine Newman. Doesn't look like Lorraine Newman.
I guess it's Lorraine.
Oh.
That's Jim Downey.
This is Jim Downey?
What a great picture. That's fabulous.
Yeah, great. And here's Alan. Isn't that amazing?
Yeah.
And he said right here, Gilda Radner and I created Rosanna Dana together.
He sure did.
Great stuff. And this one I put in because this was an old one. Dinner with the Van Halens from the 80s, I guess.
Right. Look at that.
Valerie Bernelli was the host and Eddie.
Look at that.
Well, he was the coolest of cool.
Look at
yes,
that
he
picture.
was.
Yeah. So I just wanted to play
What
that.
a great show and tell, Dave.
Well, that's what the show's all about. And now what we usually do is go into our final football picks, because it's, we have
I
a good
can't believe what a good actor Newman was in that sketch.
I know.
I mean it.
He was really good.
He was smooth.
Yeah, you looked amazing,
my
too.
new calling card.
You were smooth as butter.
Well, you know what they also have on that site, which is really great, is the rehearsal. I don't know where I found it, but they also had the rehearsal before. That was the one that actually aired.
Rick,
which
you
is
have a
even
lot of that
better.
stuff on physical media. Do you have it on DVD?
No, he
I
doesn't.
do. You know what I'll do? I'll send you a link to the whole 90-minute special.
Wow.
You will love it.
I
But
can't wait.
But you don't have a lot of other video
But those
besides
clips are
that.
in there.
though.
You've got a great clip with Robin Williams and Billy Crystal at the bar, where they're kind of ad-libbing with each other. That's drop dead hysterical.
And I'm
Great.
putting
Love
out
to see
something
those.
if anybody has any video from back then at Catch the Rising Star, please tell us because we need it because we want to make a documentary.
And photos.
Yes,
I have
and
a bunch of photos, but it's interesting. People show me photos that they took that I've never seen.
That's what I'm
That
saying.
is quite astounding.
I obviously have photos from the 90s Catch a Rising Star, which was on 28th Street, which is where Rick and I met, which
I have
was
a lot
just
of photos from that too. That was
another great time. I mean, if this guy doesn't know how to throw a party and keep a club going, I mean, he is the man. I met so many interesting people through Rick, and I'm talking about the kind of interesting you don't normally meet as a comic, like Patty Hearst. Who was the top cop at the time? Ray. What was his name?
Who are you talking about?
I can't think. He was the head of the cops.
Police commissioner?
Yeah,
Oh,
the commissioner.
Ray Kelly?
Ray Kelly, right?
Ray Kelly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, Ariana Huffington, like important
Rick
people.
knows everybody. Rick's
Yeah,
a
he
hub.
knows everybody, and it was the best time. I mean, the
He had a
absolute
lot
best
of fun.
time.
I always felt that, every night I was throwing a party for this interesting, great group of people.
Wait, I wanted
You
to
guys
show.
included at different times.
I know.
You're
it was
sweet.
great.
I met you at the Friars Club. I didn't even meet you at Catch.
Oh, yeah, we want to tell that story in a second. Wait, hold on a second. So let me just show everybody. Here's last week's results. Everybody pretty much went 8-6. The audience, me, Jessica.
There's
and
an
Nick.
audience?
Yeah, we let them pick too. It's live. The audience was the only one who got the Bears right. That's very impressive. We all got the Panthers right. We all got the Rams right over the Washington football team. The audience was wrong on the Cowboys, where we all picked the Giants just to cover the spread, of course.
Right.
We all got the Seahawks wrong because even though they won, they only won by a point. And last night, the Chargers were on fire and should have really won that game. And right now, the audience is beating me 45-42.
Wow.
So they're doing
audience participation.
All right. Yes. So, all right. Let's make our picks for this week, and then we'll go on to talk about other stuff very quickly, since I know, Rick, this isn't your cup of tea. Now, Mike, what's the score for the Titans-Bills game right now? Do you know? Oh, maybe you stepped away.
Yes, it's 10-21.
Who's winning?
The Titans.
Oh, the Titans are winning 21-10 against the undefeated Bills. So the Titans right now are favored by 5.5.
The Titans.
Oh, yeah. Well, I'll
give me the Titans, please.
Okay, you can have the Titans then. I guess I'm gonna. This is a tough one. I'm going to take Houston plus the points on this one, but that line's going to change. But for now, remember, there's no Thursday night game because everything's all got fakakta again. So this is starting on Sunday. Frank, what do you think between the Titans and the
I don't know. The Texans got a new coach, and they're playing for Romeo Crennel. They seem to have a little swagger in their step. I'm gonna take the Texans.
All right, he's going to take the Texans. What does the audience say, Mike?
They're still bringing theirs in. Looks like the Titans.
Okay, well, that's a tough one because we don't know what's happening yet. Okay, here are the Baltimore Ravens against the Philadelphia Eagles. The Ravens killed the Bengals last week. The Eagles stink. I'm going to take the Ravens minus 7.5. Frank?
I think the Eagles have to win a game eventually.
Ooh.
And they're at home. And I'm not that impressed with Baltimore, so I'll take the Eagles.
Excellent. Rick, what do you think?
I'm taking the Eagles as well.
Nice. The audience?
Ravens.
Ravens, yes. Right here's the stupid Falcons who really stink, and quite frankly, the Vikings stink too. I tell you, I'm going to take the points in this one and the Falcons plus 3.5, even though I'm not sure what's happening with them. They just fired their coach.
Yep, they're new coach.
I'll take the points. Frank, what do you think?
First game under a new coach, but I was impressed with Minnesota in the Sunday night game with Seattle. And I think they're better than their record, so I'll take the Vikes.
Okay. Rick, what do you think?
I'll take the points.
You will take the Falcons then?
Yeah.
Okay.
Hey, this guy knows a thing or two.
What about the audience?
He's a hustler.
They're saying Vikings.
They're saying Vikings minus the 3.5.
Vikings are better than their record.
This is a really interesting game. The Steelers and the Browns. Who would have thought? The Browns have won 4 games straight. The Steelers are undefeated. The Steelers minus 3.5. I don't trust the Browns. I'm taking the Steelers minus the points, and I hate the Steelers. Frank, what do you think?
I like the Brownies, and the Steelers are undefeated. They have to lose a game somewhere.
Yeah, that'll be interesting. Okay, Rick?
They're not going to lose this one. I'll take the Steelers.
Okay. What does the audience say?
I feel like we're on Inside the NFL.
That's what it's like. It's exciting.
Where's Nick Bonacani?
Aw.
They're saying the Steelers. I think the Browns, but they're saying the Steelers.
I guess I got to go with the chat room, though, right, Mike?
Yeah.
But what? Maybe I could put. I'll put a mental note that you said the Browns. Here are the Bengals that just played horribly last week, and the Colts minus 7.5. I don't like that line at all. I'm going to take the Bengals to play a little better against the Colts, who played horribly last week. Frank, what do you think?
Colts have the best defense in the league statistically.
Look, he does know everything.
I'm gonna tell you. You thought I didn't know anything about the game.
I didn't know.
I'm very impressed.
I am too.
I like Joe Burrow. I think the
do
Bengals
too.
are better and have to win a game sometime, but the Colts are home, so I'm going to take Indy.
Okay, Rick.
I'm going along with Frank.
All right. What does the audience say?
They're going with the Colts.
All right, that's a lot of points.
I lost the screen.
You did? Well, it's
That's
still here.
All right, keep going.
Now we have the Lions against the Jaguars, two really crappy teams.
Boy.
So I am without a doubt taking plus the points of Jacksonville at home, plus 3.5. It's actually a no-brainer for me. Frank, what do you think?
I lost the graphic. Is Jacksonville home or?
Jacksonville is at home, and they're underdogs by 3.5 points.
I'm going to take Gardner Minshew and the Jags.
Smart move. Rick, what do you think?
I'm going along with the Jags too.
Okay. And what does the audience say?
They're saying Jags, and your aunt saying who cares.
How dare she?
I'm with her.
My Aunt
Off
Judy.
the board.
I hope she's talking about the game, not the show. Okay, here are the amazing Carolina Panthers who've been kind of doing really well. And the Bears who were doing well and now not so much. You know what? I'm going to take the Panthers minus the 2.5. Frank?
Who's the home team?
The Panthers are the home team.
I don't like the Bears as a road team. I like Teddy Bridgewater and the Panthers.
Okay, amazing. He knows it all. Rick, what do you think?
We're all in sync again.
Okay. What does the audience say?
They're picking Bears.
Oh, it's a mistake because remember all last week we all picked the Panthers. We all won. You'll see next week,
But
audience.
they got the Bears right last week. So
That's true. They were the only ones to get the Bears right last night. Like it works both ways, doesn't it? Here's a really crappy game. The New York Giants, who are somehow favored at home,
Wow.
against the Washington Football Club. Oh, God. Well, the Giants haven't been playing horribly. I'm going to take the Giants. I can't believe it.
The Giants have to win this game.
They have to.
The team formerly known as the Redskins are in total disarray.
Yeah. Okay. Rick, you think the same?
I miss New York so much. I have to take the Giants.
Well, let's see how you feel that way when we get to the Jets. And what does the audience say? I'm going to say they're going to pick the Giants.
they're saying, I think they're saying Washington.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
On the strength of the Washington team also having the most odious owner in sports, I can't pick them ever on a personal level.
I understand that as
Too
well.
much info?
No, I feel that way about the Jets.
There you go.
I mean, here we go. The Jets stink. I mean, they stink. They're a horrible organization. Somehow they're underdogs to the Dolphins, who, they won last week in amazing fashion.
Big week for the Dolphins.
Yeah, but they're -8. The Jets and the Dolphins usually play each other. God, every time I take the Jets, it's a nightmare. Why would I ever do that? I'm taking the Dolphins. I'm not going to sit there and take the Jets. Last week with the Cardinals, I'm like, should I take the Jets plus the points? Why? I'm taking the Dolphins.
Is that a home game for the Jets?
No, it's in Miami.
I'll take the Dolphins as a lock.
Okay, yeah, good idea.
It's a lock of the week.
Rick, what do you think? Is your New
Jets,
York
Jets? You
look
guys.
at it? Look, he's keeping true to his colors. Wow,
what a loyal New Yorker.
That's very impressive. You're an idiot. What does the audience say?
They are going Dolphins.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure Aunt Judy feels similar, and she's a big Jets fan too. I mean, this is just, It's just silly. The way I look at it, if I take the Dolphins and they win, then I win. And if I take the Jets and they somehow win, then I'll feel good both ways. I'm like, well, if I lost that one, at least the Jets won. That game was moved. They were supposed to play the Chargers this week, but COVID has messed everything up, and that's why they're playing the Dolphins. Here's another game that was all fakakta as well. The Patriots are -8.5 against the Broncos. Do we know if Cam Newton's playing this week?
Probably not. I don't think so. He's got.
You want to pick first in this one, Frank? I really don't know what I'm doing.
He's got the COVID, but the Patriots have quarterback problems, so I don't know why they're 8.5.
So do the Broncos. Well, that line is going to change, by Sunday, but right now that's it's off the board. That's what it is.
Broncos aren't so good.
No.
I think Belichick finds a way to pull that one out somehow.
Okay, Rick, what do you think?
I agree with Frank.
I'm going to go for the audience first before I make my decision. What do they say?
They're split right now, so I'm going to go with the Broncos.
Yeah.
Broncos are home?
No, they're away.
Nah, I don't like I don't like the Broncos on the road.
Neither do I. All right, I'll go with the Patriots.
And they're banged up. The Broncos have a ton of injuries.
Oh, they're on their fourth string quarterback. That's why it was a
right.
joke that they lost to the Jets.
Ripien.
My God. Okay, here's the game of the week. Well, no, it's not the game of the week, but it's close. It's a good one. Tom Brady's Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who really messed up last week. Everybody's calling Tom Brady old. He didn't know what down it was, and they lost to the Bears. And the amazing Green Bay Packers. I got no problems with this. I'm picking the Packers. They're playing amazing. Frank, what do you think?
Are the Packers at Lambeau?
No, they're in Tampa Bay. Off a bye week.
That is a tough one. That game. What's the spread?
Just 2. Green Bay favored by 2.
That game is a coin flip.
Yes, it is.
The Packers have to lose eventually, but Brady's getting better and getting more comfortable in the system every week. And I love Rodgers, and I hate myself, but I'll take I almost said the Pats. I'll take the Bucks.
Okay. Rick, what do you think?
I'm going to do the Bucks as well. That's a tough game.
It is. What does the audience say?
They're saying Packers.
Yeah, I like that. Very quickly, the LA Rams, San Francisco 49ers. The 49ers were horrible last week. I'm totally going with the Rams. I don't have any problems with that. Frank, the 49ers are at home, and they're underdogs by 3.5 points.
The Rams are playing well. The 49ers have quarterback problems.
They do.
They may even bench Garoppolo, who's not really healthy. So second string quarterback Beathard will probably play for the Niners, and I never pick against my own team. So
going Rams.
Rams.
Rick?
I'm in LA, so I'm going to go with LA.
You can't just choose New York when you feel like it and then LA the next time. That's not the way it works.
Sure, these rules.
Oh, what does the audience say?
Right now they're split. There's one more.
But you decide,
Rams.
Mike. Rams?
Yeah.
Okay, this is the game of the week. Although if the Bills lose tonight, it might change. But then Kansas City lost last week. So then it is the game of the week. It's on Monday. It was moved.
Wow. That's a great game.
Kansas City at Buffalo. Kansas City right now, but this could change completely, favored by 3. I really don't know. Frank, you go first.
I'm going to take the Chiefs.
You're going to take the Chiefs on the road.
Bouncing back from a very, very tough loss.
Yeah. Rick, what do you think?
I'm taking the Bills +3.
Oh, interesting.
I like this guy.
What does the audience say?
Chiefs.
Chiefs, yeah. I think I'm going to take the Chiefs too. And here our final game, the original Monday night game, the Cardinals over the Cowboys with their quarterback, Dalton, which is probably a good pickup at this point. I don't think they'll play horribly with him. I like what the Cardinals are doing. They're favored by 2.5 on the road in Dallas. I like the Cardinals in this one. Frank, what do you think?
I think Dallas, which has a terrible defense.
Horrible.
But I think they're going to rally under Dalton, and I'm not impressed with the Cardinals, who look like a 500 team to me. So,
excellent analysis.
Though I can't stand Jerry Jones, Dal picked Dallas.
Of course not. Rick?
I'm going to go with the star. I like the emblem. Catch a rising star.
See, that's the way to pick. That is the proper way to pick, by the way.
That'll win.
What does the audience say?
They're picking Cardinals.
They are picking the Cardinals, as did I. And those are our picks for the week. Thank you, everybody.
Wow, that was fun.
What do we win?
You win bragging rights. That's about it.
Okay.
You know, or maybe somebody will donate something you can win. Actually, I got Frank something. I got him these. I'll show them later. But see, my screen is messed up. I got him these mini wacky packages. I'll show you later. I have other things to show you before we leave. Here we go.
That's nice. That was nice of you, Dave.
Yeah. So right, these are the
Joe Flacco?
Jets. That's Joe Flacco saying, like, why do I have to play?
Poor guy. Should have retired.
I show things from the Jets every week. Here's the Jets losing to the Cardinals. Here's the Cardinals scoring a touchdown at this every week. I just show the other team scoring against the Jets and hear them laughing at the Jets saying, I love New York. And here's Adam Gase, their coach, saying he's toyed with the idea of giving up play calling as Jets remain winless. Oh, is he toying with? I think he's given up play calling from the beginning of the season. He's an idiot. and he needs to be fired immediately. Am I right, folks? Thank you so much. Sorry, sometimes I run out of room here. Here's what you look like during COVID with a winning franchise, which is Pittsburgh. Those are all those people who are actually in the stands this week.
Wow.
We always have pictures of fans in the stands. And here's the Washington football team with their fans not even paying attention why they even come to the game.
It's
They're
like
wondering.
Vito Scotti on The Odd Couple. And what is the crowd going to say?
And here are the Falcons fans, just as
Wow.
bitter and angry
Is
as
that Doug McClure? Number 56?
Yeah, right. I mean, what is
These
happening?
people are not wearing masks.
No, well, they're in Atlanta. In Georgia and Florida, they don't care.
Right, of course.
Here's the Falcons owners, why he had to fire his coach. It's called lack of winning. I don't know why you have to put that out. It
You
seems
can't
pretty
argue with that
obvious.
logic.
Yeah, exactly. That's the point. Okay, so speaking of why weren't they wearing masks? Because they live in Georgia. Well, I don't know whether you guys know. I don't like talking about the Lakers because even though they won the NBA Finals that nobody seems to care about, I don't like the Lakers. But you might not know that the Tampa Bay Lightning won the Stanley Cup last week.
Yeah.
There was a Stanley Cup champion that nobody seems to know, and the Tampa Bay Lightning won, and they did a boat tour.
Well, that's resourceful.
Yes, well, you would think that at first, and then here are all their fans not wearing one goddamn mask.
Well, it's Florida, Jake.
It's Florida,
Forget
exactly. You're doing a Chinatown reference?
I might be.
Excellent. Yep, here's what Florida is doing, and Florida and Georgia don't seem to care about social distancing or mask wearing or anything. So
Florida.
Bad
comment.
shape for the rest of us.
Oh,
Yes, I don't know if you heard
Margaret Nolan.
Frank is on top of everything. He is a genius. That's right. Now, this is not Margaret Nolan. This is Eaton. Shirley Eaton, I think her name is.
Shirley Eaton.
Shirley Eaton.
But I knew where you were going.
You knew where I was going. Painted in Goldfinger, the legendary, girl they painted up in Goldfinger. I don't know whether you saw this. That's her. She's gorgeous. And this is her at, I believe, 72. They repainted her. Like, this is like 2 weeks ago or a month ago, as like a publicity, because this is what she looks like now. They repainted her.
Good for her.
And that's what she looks like now. Still looks pretty good.
That's Shirley Eaton?
Good for her. That's
Yeah.
great.
Wow.
So then, yes, that's her. See?
Wow.
Isn't that cute? But this is Margaret Nolan,
Correct.
who died this week and also was in Goldfinger and was also painted gold in the opening credits. This is her. That's not Shirley Eaton. They painted two girls gold in Goldfinger.
And Honor Blackman, who played Pussy Galore, also died a couple of months ago.
Yes, that's right. The entire cast of Goldfinger is dropping like hotcakes.
It's the Goldfinger curse.
Yeah, the Goldfinger curse. And this, I don't know how that Margaret Nolan ever got work. I'm kidding, of course. Wait, how did she ever get? Oh, right. She wasn't that good an actress. How did she get work? Then I saw this picture and I'm like, I'm sorry. I just think this is funny. This is on there's a series in Britain called Carry On.
Sure.
You know it, Frank?
Of course. It's endured for decades.
It's like the longest running film franchise other than James Bond, and it's the worst. It's just all hot girls in bikinis. I mean, it's brilliant. I don't know. And they keep trying to rebrand it today, and I'm just like, what are you guys crazy? You'll never get away with it. But maybe in Britain they can. I don't know. This picture I just saw, it was
wow, my Brit.
Yeah. You know the names. It's so amazing.
Sammy's wife.
Sammy's wedding, which of course was controversial back in the 1960 election, where John F. Kennedy asked Frank Sinatra to ask Sammy Davis to postpone his wedding, because they didn't care for interracial marriage back then.
That's the Swedish bombshell. My Brit.
Yeah. And the best part is he cheated on her. But look how Jewy he looks there. That's why I like this picture.
David Steinberg, the manager, used to be his press agent. Robin Williams and Billy Crystal's manager started out. He was Sammy Davis Jr.'s press agent.
Really?
Wow, that's cool.
That is cool. Oh, this is what I got you, Frank. These are they made actual minis of the old Wacky Packages.
Wow.
Stuff. So
before my time there.
Yeah. I got it for you. Yeah, Frank used to write for Wacky Pack, the old Wacky Packages, which Frank has done. So he used to write Bazooka Joe comics. I mean,
In the 90s.
It's amazing. He's a journeyman, Mad Magazine. He really has done it all. And now, right now, Frank, you just wrote a piece for Bob Balaban and Alec Baldwin for the Hamptons Film Festival. Is that correct?
Yeah, can't really talk much about it yet, but thank you for bringing it up.
You're welcome.
I appreciate the plug.
Well, yeah, of course. So here's what we were going to talk about. One thing, you guys work together. You and Rick and Frank work together at the Friars Club.
Joe.
You put together an event that apparently was a disaster.
It was great. We did a show called Electile Dysfunction.
Well, that's why it's important to bring it up this week.
Right.
Yeah.
What happened?
Tell us the story, Frank.
In fact, you know what, Rick? That might have been this week. 12 years ago.
Pardon?
12 years ago?
Oh my God.
It was we
had Louis Black, Richard Belzer, Marvin Scott,
Liz Winstead, the creator of the Daily
Frank,
Show.
What's the political guy? Frank
Luntz.
Frank, yeah, Luntz. And
what
tell
happened?
him what happened. We had one guy in the audience that went berserk.
We were not well received.
At the Friars Club, you were getting heckled.
I think it's safe to say we were heckled.
It was a little too liberal for the Friars Club.
Well, the panel was imbalanced. We had 3 liberals, and we had Frank Luntz, who's a Republican pollster, on the right. And some people in the audience started to shout us down, and the evening ended with I'll never forget Belzer that night. It was, you know what it was? It was Bush versus Kerry.
Oh.
It was the second.
Yeah.
So that would have been 2004.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
So that's more than 12 years
We
ago.
just got a message from Alan.
Could that be 16 years ago? We did that stupid thing?
God almighty, is that amazing?
Wow.
So wait, what were you going to say, Frank?
We were shouted down by the audience, and somebody yelled to Liz Winstead. Liz Winstead was making a political point, and somebody yelled, "Your parents are ashamed of you." And so it turned into a shouting match, and the evening ended up with Belzer insulting the audience, and Louis Black trying to restore order by standing on a chair and screaming the word "pussy feathers." Does that ring a bell, Rick?
Yeah, it sure does. But the audience was a little upset, but we were hysterical.
Everybody was funny, and we sold the place out. We
great.
sold all our tickets.
I don't understand. Was it at the Friars Club? And that small.
At the club, and then there was a closed
club.
circuit TV.
They set up a stage, and we had a full packed audience standing room only.
I just don't understand how the Friars Club would end up like that. It seems like a well balanced.
It was this one guy in particular, and it actually, as bad as it was good.
Yeah, it was memorable.
Yeah, memorable.
We
raised some money for charity, I think.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, we did. We raised. We had a good run.
Rick, you said you heard from Alan.
Sent a text we just got.
What did he say?
Just so you know, and unfortunately,
he can't make it. I figured that out.
Before 6 tonight, we were told that my father has 24 to 72 hours to live. Just couldn't get myself up for anything. I'm sure that Frank and Rick were great. Please have me on another night. Thanks, Alan.
How do you like this guy? What a mensch. He's apologizing for that. His dad's got a couple of hours to live. He's like, hey, I'm sorry. I just wasn't up for it. I mean, Jesus Christ. That's a pretty goddamn good excuse. I'm so sorry that had to happen. But,
text him back. Tell him we love him, Rick.
Yeah. Tell him we were talking about him in the best way possible.
Good
and, we're promoting his book, and we'll
do another one down the road,
Yeah, absolutely. This was fun.
Yeah, it was super fun. Sorry to leave on that blank note, but it's funny because last week I think I did the same thing. I was talking about. I was like, "Hey, before we leave, let's talk about the death of Eddie Van Halen."
Sorry about that. It just came in. I thought you guys would want to know.
Part of life.
We do. Thank you so much for letting us know, Rick. What are you working on right now?
really the Triad Theater is where we've reinvented it. It's really, we're talking to a bunch of companies that want to partner with us. And we're a mini soundstage studio. And we're developing quite a few shows out of there. So everyone that I know is going to get an announcement probably in about a month. And
Great.
It's very exciting.
When are we going to get that Rick Newman memoir?
Got to work on it. I need a good writer, Frank. What are you doing later?
Frank, that's a perfect matchup.
Someone to work with me. It'll be, you were there. You know a lot of the stories. We could have a blast on.
I know
this.
a lot of the stories.
I used to go to the old Catch a Rising Star. I didn't, I wouldn't get to meet the owner at that time when I was going, but me and Attell and Mike Royce would always go in and wait to get on. And we used to see, around the time Sandler and Chris Rock and David Spade, I used to run into, and Gilbert sometimes.
Yeah.
We used to wait until like 2 a.m. to get on. And sometimes, Lewis was kind enough to put me on, and it was such a great place because I knew about the history and everything. And, I'm certainly one of those people that appreciates the history of comedy, which is why I'm probably the last person who actually went to the Ed Wynn Room in Los Angeles.
Oh my God.
Danny Vermont took me to see it because he knows
Vermont.
how much it meant to me to go see the
There's
Ed
a
Wynn
name.
Room before they tore it down. So, and Rick Newman is the history of comedy. It's funny when I think about, these things, like there'd be no, like I was just doing because this is why nobody's ever heard of me, a Saturday Night Fever imitation. I was at the Stress Factory in New Brunswick. I'm like, come on, it's gonna be great, right? I was doing that, and that imitation wouldn't have even happened without Rick Newman, because without Rick Newman there'd be no Gabe Kaplan, there'd be no Welcome Back Kotter, and there'd be no John Travolta. So how do you like that?
Oh my goodness.
And
a lot of people owe their success to that man in that box.
Oh,
it's
thank
a
you very
fact.
much.
It's a
It
fact.
was the right idea at the right time, and I'm happy I was a part of it.
Yeah, and let me tell you something, folks. The Comedy Cellar is a super fun place, and I love it there, and I love hanging out there. But
Me too.
The guy who came up with it first, the hangout, was Mr. Rick Newman, everybody. And every night was a party, and it was so much fun. And what could be better than partying with your friends and laughing and having a good time and then seeing a show? I mean, it was really something special. And then you recreated it for people my age in the 90s on the 28th Street, which was always the most fun I've ever had. And William McLaughlin, who I think is watching today, introduced us. And I mean, what a fun time that was. Yeah. And it was just
Bill McLaughlin from The Improviser from First Amendment.
That's right. Oh my God, he'll be so
Bill.
happy you mentioned that.
That's a great name.
He's such a wonderful person too.
I remember Bill and Nancy Lombardo too.
And we all stay in touch with each other because it really is a fraternity of sorts and a brotherhood, even though that sounds sexist, but that's what makes the Comedy Cellar so great in this show. So we have all our comics friends on and everything. Frank, you can see his show is happening right now on Sirius XM on channel 94. That's the Sirius XM's Comedy Greats. And they're on every Tuesday, right?
And then we're doing a Halloween show with Joe Dante and Mick Garris, horror directors, masters of horror. And then we have Elliot Gould coming up.
Wow. Right. And just last week they had Bob Costas on. I have not heard that yet, but that's a good interview. That guy is great.
And we have Neil deGrasse Tyson is going to come on to talk about science fiction movies.
Yeah.
So we try to shake it up and do different things with the show.
Right.
We're very proud
and that's the best kind of show to be. And so thank you everybody for watching us today. And I had another great time. Thank you guys for coming on. It was so much fun.
Wait, can I change my Titans Texans pick?
I'll remember it.
Okay.
But next week our show is at 7 p.m. Just for 1 week only, 7 p.m. next week, when our guests will be Lenny Marcus, who is just working on Supermarket Sweep with Leslie Jones, which will air this Sunday, I believe, and little Danny Natterman, Rick.
I
know Danny Natterman.
Of course.
Yeah,
He'll be
another
joining
funny
us.
guy.
I followed him on Instagram. I love him.
Yeah, he's the
A
best.
funny man.
Yes, and we've known each other all for a long time. And Marina Franklin will be joining us. Those
Also
are our three
funny.
guests. Yes, our three guests for next week on the Comedy Cellar Nightly Show at special time, 7 p.m. next week. Thank you, everybody, for joining us Always remember the Comedy Cellar is open for dinner, and you can have dinner with the comics at the Olive Tree right behind me. You can see it is open every night until they close everything down again in New York City. But for now, you can always join us for dinner at the Comedy Cellar, and we'll see you next week on the
Dave.
Comedy Cellar Nightly Football Show. Thank you so much, guys. See you next time,
Good
everybody.
to see you, Richard.
Thanks, guys.